Paul Cavalconte with you. The song is Babylon. The album Every Dawn is a Mountain, and the artist Tamino. Welcome back to 90.7 WFUV.
Thank you, Paul.
Tamino, you keep on upping the game. We're going to hear you perform with a fantastic combo of players. Just tell me briefly what instruments and their names.
There's Ruben, who plays the drums, and we gave him a bunch of other instruments to play on this tour, which he was stressed about. He's playing guitar and sub-bass as well, but he's doing a great job. And then there's Frederick, who is playing the cello, and both of them are doing some backing vocals as well.
My, you've grown. You must be 6'2.5" now.
No. I didn't grow. No.
You've grown as an artist, and
thanks,
the
man.
time that you've spent between these cultures, it's really, I think, positioned you to be kind of a post-genre artist. How do you feel about that? Is it too grand, or are we overthinking it?
No, I mean, I think that's a tremendous compliment. I think a lot of music nowadays might be a little bit post-genre, because a lot of young musicians, they grew up with the internet, and it's just like an overload of information and music and art. So I think a lot of people just take all of that in, and something new comes out. I mean, I guess built on a lot of stuff from the past, though. Yeah, I think it might have. I mean, of course, some of it in my case has to do with my background and the two cultures that I'm from, but it might also just be that, I'm a product of the internet age just as much as anyone else is nowadays.
So here's the tough question. How do you hold these very, very short attention spans with music that asks for a deeper commitment right from the start? I mean, if you're a person who clicks 5 seconds, bang, bang, bang through, things on a Spotify or whatever, you get the idea right away, if you've just dialed up Tamino, that you're going to need to settle down and relax with this and allow you to be in charge, So in framing the music, how do you conceptualize that?
I never really did. It's maybe because I personally love stuff that seems to stop time a little bit, whether it's, music or a painting or a movie, and I sure hope that my music has that same quality. And I think that people who like what I do, they gravitate maybe towards that slowness and towards that sort of, maybe I think it's a strength in a way in a world that's going so fast, and there's so much going on, and like I said, that overload of information and stimuli. When you do something that maybe requires a slower pace, or more, that's a little bit more demanding, I think it when done well, it might be your strength rather than something that works against you. I hope, at least.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to work for you as you build a name for yourself. You are, as they like to say, on brand when you're doing what's been described as ethereal music. But there's a point at which I think everybody almost kind of bites that hand that feeds them. So have you resisted up until this point the temptation to take the music in a different direction, to infuse it with more pop or a different kind of energy? Or are you really in the zone right now and just let them keep on coming?
I mean, I'm just a very slow person. I'm like very calm usually, and I think the pace of my songs is very much just my general pace, or general way of being, maybe. So it does come quite naturally, and I don't really have to force anything to get to that zone. I sometimes try to imagine what if I had, a project that was a little bit upbeat, and I think I would have really struggled with touring, because like every night I'd have to energize myself to a degree that I am able to entertain a crowd in like a typically entertaining sort of way, like a frontman that jumps around on the stage and, I don't know, like hypes the crowd, and it's just not in me, I think.
I think that's one of the most
Yeah.
appealing things about you, because you have the physicality to be that kind of front man, but you purposely choose not to do that because you are the most chill person on planet Earth. Can we get a transfusion after this interview? I really need a dose of Tamino chill.
I'm
Because
not
I'm
sure
kind of
you
in the
want that. I'm
opposite
not
end
sure you
of the
want that.
spectrum. No, I really need it badly. It brings us to the interesting career opportunity. We'll get to the oud in a moment, but it really has a mind of its own.
It does.
An interesting career opportunity for you joining Mitzky on tour. Now, here is someone who is just bubbling with pop energy and a whole different kind of vibe. So, and you actually do a song. We're going to hear your solo take on Sanctuary from the new album, Every Dawn is a Mountain. We're talking to Tamino. I'm Paul Cavalconte. And working with Mitzky must be a trip. Tell me about it.
It's definitely a trip. It was so cool. You know, I used to listen so much to her record Puberty 2 when I was studying in Amsterdam, and I was like around 18, 19 years old. I even saw her play in this like the smaller venue of the Paradiso, which is like a legendary. So it's a church basically in Amsterdam that became a venue. Yeah, it's just a pinch me sort of moment to work with her, and going on tour with her was also amazing. And I would say she dances on stage, like there's a choreography, but in terms of the way of touring, and I feel like there's a very similar pace, like there's a certain slowness to it as well, which was there with the whole crew and band, and like a very zen sort of vibe going on that I really enjoyed.
Taking it slow and solo, it's Sanctuary, the song that you'll hear in a duet of Tamino and Mitzky on the new Every Dawn is a Mountain, with the band assembled for our visit here for FUV Live. And I should note that these performers really seasoned with you, but overseas. It's the first time you've brought them to America.
That's
the
right.
Logistics worked out now, and so they've really fleshed out your sound in a very interesting way. So, and you're going to switch guitars for us. In Babylon, we heard a beautiful steel guitar, and now we're going to put a little bit more rock and roll chords and a bit of crunch into Sanctuary, Tamino, FUV. Finding Sanctuary with Tamino, live for FUV. I'm Paul Cavalconte, and we are in the Tamino safe space where everything is super chill, super mellow. There's nothing to get stirred up
I wish it was.
There has to be some
not as simple.
turbulence. Well, I mean, first of all, international travel. Being your own one-man band for so long, you know, playing before small groups and bringing the instruments in and out yourself. You've always been a guy who puts, you know, some sweat equity into what you do. So you project a calm, but it takes a lot of focus and effort to make it happen.
It's definitely, I mean, what's been sort of confusing at times, but also very, in a good way, challenging, was the difference in markets, or, you know, so in America we did tour solo a bunch of times, and it was a very small crew. It was just a lighting engineer, a sound engineer, a tour manager, and me. Meanwhile, we were doing European tours and tours in Turkey and Egypt that were quite big, and like with a full band and a full big production. And so it was sort of just two mindsets I had to sort of adopt. But I think that's a good thing as well. It's a good thing to not grow too comfortable within the success that you've gained, you know. But I'm very happy right now that we're able to bring at least, you know, a couple musicians. It's not the full band yet, but like we're getting to a point where the difference between the shows isn't like that big anymore.
You're doing your act. And that's perfectly okay. It's how showbiz works, but it's what you're comfortable with now in expressing yourself and all of the interesting conditions that made you you. So let's talk a little bit about the you in the world of Tamino. First of all, you mentioned your multicultural background, and you are Egyptian and Belgian. Most of your time was spent growing up in Belgium?
In Belgium, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Very different world than even the rest of Europe, and certainly than America. Some commonalities. Can you give us a quick tourist's point of view on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed living here now that not too many people know Belgium or
They have to Google it,
yeah,
don't they? They have to Google Earth it.
yeah, exactly.
It's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if it's a problem. I mean, Belgium is a very weird country and very young country.
May I ask this, because you've recently relocated to New York. Can
Yeah.
you reveal what borough you chose?
Yeah, the East Village. I mean,
The
East Village.
East Village.
Yeah.
Isn't it the center of the world right now?
I can just speak from my personal perspective. It's the greatest city in the world. I mean, there's so many places I haven't been to yet, but I've been to, quite a bit of the larger metropole cities, I guess. And there was just nothing quite like New York, nothing quite like the life and the pace as well. Because I do because we were talking about slowness and all of that for a bit, but I actually love that to live in a place that goes very fast.
So you are still in the middle of all of that energy.
Yes, in a way, because I think it's just sort of in Belgium. That's probably the main reason why I like living here, because in Belgium things go maybe a little too slow, and then it's just I want to feel like I can step out of the door, and there's sort of a wave of a city that just sort of drags you along, and stuff happens, and I can be quite passive, and I like a city that sort of challenges me and pushes me, I guess. Propels me forward.
I characterize the East Village as the center of the world at this moment, because I just think that it's the last corner of New York where you really could sense in just some, derelict looking building that there might be an artist in there who's figuring something out that's going to reframe everything once that message gets out to the masses, or maybe it never will. And for every story that gets told to the world, for every, Basquiat or Keith Haring or whatever, for all of the underground musicians who became pop stars, there are all these other stories that will never be told, but they're contained within that world, and that's okay, So that sense of discovery and adventure is still in that part of town. It's fancier than what I knew at your age. It was pretty down in the dumps back then, but it still has an element of that rougher edge.
I'm happy to hear that, because of course you often hear New Yorkers say, "Oh, it's changed so much," or it doesn't have that magic anymore. But then there's also a lot of people, I think, who share your opinion that it hasn't lost its magic. It's changed for sure, but there's still. I mean, I sure feel it, even though I wasn't around in the 80s or something. But I still, I guess, I feel that energy as well.
It's very much there, and it's the continuity between all the different great generations of outsiders who came to make it the in place to be. Tamino at FUV, dissolve. It's a phrase in making movies, right, where the scene is going to blend out into another scene. So let's frame dissolve. What space are we going to enter as we hear this song? It's going to be an exotic space, because a rather exotic instrument is the star of the show. Your own custom made. Do we call it electric oud, or an oud with a pickup, or?
This is an electric oud. It's not necessarily custom made. It's like I ordered it at River Song. It's a Canadian brand, but they definitely only made a few of these. But it sounds great. I think it's because the pickup that's in this one is pretty. It's just pretty unique and captures the sound of the oud really well. So it's like that's probably the most difficult part about an electric oud, is the pickup. Is like, how are we going to amplify this and still make it sound like an oud, and not certainly like a guitar.
And speaking of difficult, we're talking about a fretless instrument where all the strings are doubled. And what are there, 8 of them?
No, there's 6 notes. 5 of them are double, and one is like a low single string, like a drone string sort of. Yeah.
Good heavens. And you've got that ice cream stick stirrer looking plectrum thing.
Yeah. That's called a risha, which means eagle feather, or it just means feather.
Mm-hmm.
But it's called that because they used to play with an eagle feather. And then over the years, it changed into cow horn. And this one's a wooden one. But you'll find a lot of players also just using plastic ones, or, like it just depends on your preference. But it does change the sound quite a bit.
Can't just walk into Sam Ash and ask for one of those.
No.
Maybe you'll get ice cream on the street and use that as the plectrum. It'll be a whole new East Village framing of your music.
Well, I've seen people who use they buy these large plastic sheets and they just cut them out of that, and they make them themselves. That's also an option.
We're not in Kansas anymore, folks. We're in the magical world of Tamino, where East and West and chill and energy and dissolve all merge, and accompaniment by cello and percussion, and just a great sound in our studio today. You always bring this sense of the exotic to us. And at the same time, you're a regular guy that we'd love to have a beer with. And maybe we'll go do that right now. I'll show you parts of the Bronx that you couldn't have imagined are as cool as they are.
Let's do it.
And don't be a stranger. We're going to look for you in a tour with these guys that will come, I believe, to Brooklyn Steel in April.
That's right. Yeah. It's going to be, this setup, like a 3-piece. And we bring a support with us, Alessandro, who wrote Sanctuary with me. He's gonna open up the shows, and he's also gonna play some parts, probably guitar, during our show.
All right, and a new record called Every Dawn is a Mountain. You'll hear these songs, including the song Sanctuary, with your new friend Mitzky performing with you. Others have championed you in the past. Lana Del Rey is a fan. And as you start to stretch out and become more of the, sort of music ecosystem, is there anybody that you're encountering or meeting and hanging out with that you think collaboration might happen with?
That I would never want to jinx.
All right, good.
You never
because
know.
That's a yes. I'm going to take that as a yes, and for me to know and for everybody else to find out soon. So yes, by all means, make friends and let them discover the calm that you bring to the storm of music of all kinds that maybe is going at too fast a pace. Tamino, you slow us down in the best possible way every time. Thank you for another cool visit to 90.7 WFUV.
Thanks so much, man.
More live music for FUV from Tamino.